watching Outside the Games with your host, Kevin Linton.
Well, we'd like to welcome everyone to Outside the Games. This program here is obviously for the student athletes, talking about character and who they are in and out of the classroom. Of course, during COVID, it's been a difficult thing. Some are hybrid learning, some are just virtual learning. So we know that they're putting in a lot of work. But this is an important platform for them. Well, we have a great guest here with us. This is Lenayiah Jex, class of 2022 softball player, utility player, but I tell you, she can be plugged in many spots in and out in that field there. The coaches, hey, you can plug her anywhere. Well, we have here Lenayiah Jex. Lenayiah, thank you so much for being on our show. Hey, Outside the Games.
Thanks so much, Kevin, for having me. I definitely appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
Oh, it's great. It's great to have you. Well, Lenayiah, we get into a lot of different things about you, and we touch on a lot of important things about you. First of all, let's discuss here about family. We always start there because we believe that family is the foundation of who you are, what makes Lenayiah. Lenayiah, how would you define family and why?
I would define family to me is everything. I think that family is the most important impact in my life, and I definitely have gone to grow and become the person that I am today because of family. I definitely have the unconditional love and support from all my family, extended family, and my inner family. And I think that that's literally the only support that keeps me going and that drives me to continue to grind every day.
Oh, that's important. Very important to have that support structure in place. We always get into the mentorship, but before we get into that, we're talking about family. We're going to stay there with your mom and dad. They, boy, a lot of sacrificing for you and your sport and your academics. And again, the basic necessities that are provided for you that sometimes we take for granted sometimes. But tell me how. Let's start with your mom. How is it that your mom makes you the best daughter, student athlete possible today?
She definitely supports me in providing, the home that we do live in. She supports me and just keeping me motivated to keep going.
And then going to your dad, what does your dad do for you to help you be the best uh, daughter and student athlete possible today?
My dad definitely supports me in any decision that I make. He's always there to kind of talk and definitely keep me going. But I will say, I definitely all the rest of my family, especially my aunt, uncle, uh, they do continue to support and you know continue to get me to where I need to be today.
Yeah, and so we look at the extension of family, and that may get into a little bit of the mentorship that's involved for you because mentors play a big part. You know, you have your immediate family, and then those that you're around, maybe more than your family sometimes.
Right.
They're able to direct you and guide you with perhaps challenges or adversities you face. So take me through who are your mentors and why?
I do have a bit of a group of mentors actually. My uncle is definitely the number one person that I will always go to when it comes to, different plays that were made and I'm kind of feeling upset. We'll just talk it out. He'll definitely push me to, say, hey, forget about that. Go on and do the next play. There's always more to come. Definitely Courtney. She's been an amazing friend, mentor in any aspect of what I've recently been able to do. So I want to thank her. I would definitely also say Coach Kenny. He's definitely been a great help, an amazing person to be around. And definitely, my family, my aunt, my grandmother, my aunts, uncles, everybody.
Well, and are there sometimes things where they are able to kind of give you a words of encouragement, or maybe you have a question that comes up and they're able to direct you in a certain way that can help you through a certain challenge or adversity you face? Take me through an example of that, or has there been a situation like that?
I would say I'm definitely the biggest overthinker. So when it comes to thinking about certain drills and certain plays, so an example of a question would be, well, why do I need to do this? When it comes to working out or when it comes to just the basic skill sets. Me, I see why, but I always want to have a purpose to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Um, so I think that just being able to ask that question to, my friends, my uncle, my family, and them giving me the reason as to why and explaining and kind of breaking it down makes it so much more better to get me through it and drive me to get it done.
Oh, totally. Uh, Now, with you, take me through the family. We're going to stick on the family a little bit more. Uh, from Maryland, you know, what is family like in Maryland, and how is that experience? What do you appreciate about Maryland, being there, living there? What is there to do in Maryland? Take us through that.
Um, I would definitely say being in Maryland with my family has been amazing. We definitely do game nights some nights. We have the most amazing nights that you could think of. I mean, it's full of laughter, it's full of just pure joy. Definitely a lot of other family that I do have live in New York. So I think that having both families that live kind of in Maryland and New York, each time it's a group within our family, it's definitely always an amazing experience, an amazing
Oh, we love that. Love that. Let's talk about your high school. There is it again, John Kennedy,
John Kennedy, yes.
John F. Kennedy High School in Maryland. Uh, you were once a freshman, and you remember that leap from eighth grade to freshman year. What was that experience like, getting to finally a high school, that of John F. Kennedy up in Maryland? What, take me through that.
I would say it was definitely a big change because in middle school, as much as you are the head of the school as eighth grade, it's still not that same experience to when you switch over to high school. So switching over from eighth grade to high school was definitely like a big change. I mean, there's more people, there's definitely a lot more to do. You can be a little more free, but not too free. You have kind of classes back to back. The workload is can be sometimes stressful, but never too stressful. I think that just my freshman year, I mean, I literally took advantage of it and joined every club I could think of, every single club I could think of. I had an amazing freshman year, so I think the change from eighth grade year to freshman year for me personally was great. I mean, I was able to make some really amazing friends that I call family now today. And I've been able to, play multiple different sports and kind of get closer to just the staff in general. So I think that as a whole just speaks volumes.
Yeah, you could say that as a student athlete, it was sports that how you were able to gravitate to other different groups of people, to get to know others and to grow your network of friends, right? And there is so much, Lenayiah, peer pressure that you high school student athletes have to face.
Mhm.
Um, can you take me through an experience of where you faced some kind of peer pressure and you were able to deal with it?
Me personally, I'm not the type of person to kind of fall into peer pressure, but I will say on certain aspects, I've been told I'm, very athletic. So certain sports in different seasons, I've definitely tried to play a sport each season, but sometimes, the workload kind of just is just a little too much for me. So I would kind of, fall back. And, to me, as a student athlete, the student part comes first always. Um, so I would definitely say that one form and example would probably be being told to play, a specific sport um, during a season. But me myself, I do what's best for me, and I definitely have sat out for one season on a specific sport. So I think that's probably one of the biggest examples that I have.
Could you say that with peer pressure though, and really when you sometimes maybe feel some type of pressure, confidence is always such a key thing for you, Lanaya, in trying to be confident and saying, "Hey, I know what I'm about to do. I know how I'm going to handle it." Is that true?
Yes, definitely. I think that I do have a very high self confidence in terms of anything and everything that I do. So when it comes to, teammates and playing and the different kind of sports that, that comes along with it, definitely always there's a team bonding aspect. There's definitely always a time where you're gonna be asked to do certain things that you don't necessarily want to do in a specific sport. And me personally, I know what I'm necessarily capable of, and if it doesn't benefit me in the way that I think that it should, and especially I'm big on loyalty to my teammates, then it's just not gonna work for me. So I definitely think that self confidence is definitely something that has helped me in making multiple decisions that I have made today.
Yeah, back to the high school. So, did you find it kind of interesting? I'm trying to find where how to navigate through that high school. I mean, were there some challenges there? Like, hey, what class do I need to be at, and where do I need to be at? Uh, was there any of that? Was any of that a challenge for you?
Yeah, it definitely was. Freshman year, it was like a maze. I was walking through hallways. I went in circles. I mean, I definitely thought the bathroom was a classroom. It was crazy. I mean, I think that my school is set up in a way where it's big, but it's not as big to where it's like it's very confusing after you've been there for a couple years. So the biggest thing for me was just trying to figure out where to go and not walk into bathrooms and think that it's classes. Um, I would say it was definitely a little hard the first 2 to 3 weeks, but then after a while, talking to some of the seniors, some of the teachers, I definitely got it down. And now, I mean, I could walk through my school with no problem. So, yeah.
I like what you said there, though. You said that I asked seniors, I asked others to help me through some things. Now, you, there is no need to be embarrassed to ask, to be vocal and inquire. Do you feel that that's been a big, huge help? Has that been a huge help for you?
Definitely. I know that there are some times I can definitely be a little stubborn and say, well, I don't really need help. I can do it myself. But then at the end of the day, there's absolutely nothing wrong with asking for help and reaching out to people and getting the advice that you need or the the things that you may want to hear from others. Because, 9 times out of 10, if you ask for help, that person has probably already been through it and can definitely help you get past it. And that relieves a lot of stress off of you. So I think that's definitely a big thing.
So, what have you found challenging for COVID? And we're speaking on just the academics for right now.
I would say academic wise, I think that not online learning is not for everybody. I'm definitely the type of person to kind of push through any challenge that I do have, and online learning has definitely been one. I think that for me personally, it's the level of how I can concentrate at home. I think that having that huge self motivation has definitely impacted me. But then above all, you still face the kind of, okay, I have to get up, I have to log in, I have to listen to some of these lectures, and then it's like, well, we do this whole day every day. We're not really social, with friends. And I mean, teachers are definitely trying their hardest to make it all come together for us. But me personally, I definitely just don't think online learning is necessarily for me. But I definitely would say the biggest challenge would be trying to focus and concentrate and keeping that motivation.
Have you found challenging the homework? Because when you're dealing with a teacher, you're able to ask that question. It's a little different in person to ask the question versus actually typing up an email and sending it and waiting for a response.
Yeah. So yeah, the thing with that also, we do get. I would say I do get uh, a large a large amount of assignments here and there. Some weeks is not as much. Some weeks, it's much. I would say that for me, I'm very good on kind of staying in contact with my teachers. We have many different apps like Remind, where you can text from your phone and ask questions, and they'll respond faster. I mean, we have a form of emails, but teachers probably get thousands of emails every day, and they don't necessarily see yours, and yours just happens to be at the bottom. So I would say that in terms of communicating with my teachers, I do think that I do a good job kind of staying updated and asking the questions that I need. But sometimes, I have my days where it's like, I think I could do this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, but I'm gonna try and work it out. And then sometimes, I just get a little frustrated and then just say, well, we'll come back to this, and then I forget, and then don't come back to it. But I would say the communication is key when it comes to virtual online learning, whether it's setting up meetings on Zoom with teachers, whether it's sending emails, text messages, definitely keep that line of communication open, because once you communicate, teachers are better to understand what exactly you're going through in certain situations. Not everybody is, fortunate to be able to get through this online learning. as gracefully as others. And I think that, keeping that line of communication open with not only just teachers, family as well, to kind of get that extra support from, whether if you need it from your teachers or a specific family member, just communicate.
Well, if you're just joining us, we have here Lenayiah Jex, class of 2022, out of Maryland. She attends John F. Kennedy High School. She is a utility player in softball. We'll be right back.
I had this vision of what success looked like. It wasn't always about holding a trophy. It was the journey that I went through along the way. It takes years to get to greatness. I played this one sport for 28 years of my life. When you move on into a completely new territory, you don't know what to expect. I think through sport, I realized that so many things are in my hands. I want to take all the lessons from my past and contribute it to the future. Theragun has been part of my routine for many, many years now. With Therabody, my body's ready, my mind is ready, I'm challenged. I'm Maria Sharapova. How do you see you?
Well, welcome back to our program. We have Lenayiah Jex here with us, class of 2022 out of John F. Kennedy High School in Maryland, GPA 4.5, utility softball player. So Lenayiah, question for you is this: with the student-teacher relationship, even in this COVID environment, how have you been able to get the best out of your teacher? What is it that your teacher has to do to help you be the best student athlete possible in this environment?
I would say teachers for me, I love they listen, just listen to, what the students have to say. Um, Teachers can't expect students to kind of get the best learning if they don't listen to what we have to say. And I think that a lot of my teachers are really doing an amazing job, asking whether it's on every Friday, whether it's every 2 weeks out of the month, saying, hey, can you guys fill this Google survey out for us and let us know, give us feedback on teaching. Like I said, I definitely think communication is key to everything. Emailing, I've definitely stayed on top of emailing. Now I understand that teachers aren't going to email right away, but it shouldn't take 5 or more days to definitely receive an email back. I would also say certain apps that are used that messages come straight to your phone is also another amazing key factor in teacher-student relationships. And then, for students as well to understand that teachers are human also, and for teachers to understand that students are human when it comes to certain assignments. So I think that when we both understand it on the same spectrums for all my teachers, it definitely works out.
Well, and Tula, you have to represent the student athletes as a whole.
Yeah.
Each student athlete plays a part to represent each other and the whole body of student athletes to the teachers to say, we take our academics very seriously. Do you feel that you have to prove to the teacher that, hey, even though I play a sport, I'm still going to be academically strong?
Right. I feel like there's a stereotype kind of sort of when it comes to student athletes in a way. I think that a lot of people think since we are student athletes, we kind of get looked at differently. Uh, it's typical stereotype that I necessarily hear, not specifically for softball, but just in general for sports. I think that it's student athletes kind of get a pass when it comes to academics, which is not true at all. If anything, we have to work 10 times as harder to kind of stay on top of the work that we get and practice and workouts and things like that. So I definitely think that student athletes do face a lot of challenging things when it comes to, just getting work done in general. Now, I'm not saying, the average student don't face anything, but I'm just saying in general, that's kind of the majority of the stereotypical stereotypes that I do hear.
Right. You're being honest, so I love it. That's great. Uh, Favorite class for you, Lenayiah, that you love, that you're enjoying in this virtual learning?
Mm. Favorite class? Oh, I love English. I love writing. I love English.
sometimes people their handwriting isn't the best. Has that been something you've had to perfect, get better at?
I would definitely say my handwriting isn't the greatest, but it's getting there. Um, I would say I would stick to typing on Google Docs. But as far as changing handwriting, I don't think I've ever had that much of a bad handwriting to say I need to take classes and change the way that I write. But I definitely think that handwriting is big.
It's big. I mean, you got to write something out, and if people go, "What is she saying there? I don't understand it. I can't read that." So that does play a huge part in your growth as a student and in the academic side of things. What is your least favorite class?
Least favorite class, I would have to say math. I
I
just
had a
math.
feeling it's either chemistry, math, or some. No, go ahead. Why is it something you least you know?
Mm, Math has just never really been my strongest subject. Now I keep my grades up or however you may see it, but just math, it's just not for me. I don't. Everybody has something that's for them. Math just is just not my strongest suit.
Do you find it, Lenayiah, that you have to get tutored, or do you reach out for a tutor? Because some have said, oh, you go get a tutor, that means you're not very smart. Well, no. Wait a second. Having a tutor is like, I want to get a good grade. I want to pass this class. I want to get better at this. Being it my least favorite subject, I need to improve and make those put in that effort to do the best I can.
Right. So yeah, with that, a lot of people say a lot of different things. I never had to go as far to get a tutor for math. I would definitely say I've stayed in for extra help on certain assignments and on certain things. I've definitely asked my older friends for help in certain not subjects, in certain aspects within the math world. So I've definitely had my share of asking for help and getting the help needed to understand the topic.
Important thing is you ask and you find out, because I think as a student athlete, you find out where you're deficient at. When you're able to identify where you're deficient at, then you can go through the motion of saying, okay, I've identified this. Now I know where I need help. Now I know where I need the attention in a certain subject or what have you. For you now, with the classes and how you're handling that, what interests you about learning in this virtual classroom? What gets you excited about learning? Are you the type of person that likes to learn about different things? Are you have a variety of things that interest you? What is it about on that academic side that uh, keeps you interested in going?
Keeps me interested in learning is I think that we all learn something new every day. And now school may not be the best place to be all day, every day, but you definitely learn some, long life skills that you need to apply to everyday life. Being able to learn and just apply that every day is kind of the drive that I get when I'm, in a classroom. Sometimes now I don't necessarily want to be there, but I'm definitely in the classroom, you know, being attentive to what's being talked about and definitely asking questions and learning all that I can learn to be as successful as I would like to be in life.
Love that answer. Love that answer. Well, Anaya, let's get into the student athlete challenges. When I say that, some things may jump into your head and go, okay, I know what those are. I can identify those. Take me through what you've experienced with some of those challenges and how you've been able to get through them.
I would definitely say one of the biggest challenges would kind of be time management. Like you have to have time management when it comes to playing sports and just in general. Me personally, I'm very involved in school. So when it comes to sports, school, and schoolwork in general, you have to have time management. You have to hold yourself accountable for things. Procrastination sometimes can be a big thing, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, but definitely just stay on top of it and motivate yourself to keep you going. If you know that schoolwork is not necessarily something you want to do after school, definitely use sports as a drive to get it done. Because after school, you could be like, hey, I need to get this assignment done so I can go here. In order to go with my friends, I need to do this so I can be here. Um, So the biggest challenges that I face, I think, would be time management and procrastination.
There's so much goes into that because too, you have a measure of time, and time can be spent. You have the academics, you have your sport and softball. There are maybe other sports you have interest in, but also there's an aspect of this teenager needs money. So there's that aspect of work that you have to find, and you just have to find a studying for a test or an exam, homework. There's just so much that goes into that in trying to find the right time and not putting it off, as you had said, procrastinating. Take me through a time that you had something like that and you got through it.
Um, Prime example. Just the other night, I was sitting there and I was like, I know I have 5 assignments to get done. So what I did was I saw my phone and I definitely saw TikTok calling my name, but I knew what I needed to get done in order to go out and go to practice and in order to go out and, just have fun. So like I said, holding yourself accountable and definitely having that self motivation to get you through the assignments and the other things that you need to do, because, it's not only just the aspect of school life, it's definitely family life as well. You have to take into consideration, you want to spend time with your family, you want to go to practice, you want to do a lot of different things, but you have to get your schoolwork done first in order to be able to do those things. So I think that with my motivation and my drive, I definitely am able to overcome that and surpass that and get all my assignments done when needed.
You just mentioned a couple things. I forgot about the family, the family time that it takes to spend time with them,
Yeah,
your parents, and do you have any sisters or brothers?
I do. I have 3 brothers and 1 sister.
All older, or are they different ages?
I have an older brother and the rest are younger.
Wow. Okay. So there are siblings.
Yeah, there are siblings.
Who gets the bathroom first? I mean, that's
I mean, that's no question. It's always going to be me. But, realistically, I think that my older brother does get a fair share in his bathroom time. And.
you go. I love it. When you were talking about all the things you had to do, in regards to the time and managing that time, how do you try to make sure that what things keep you in line to keep organized? Because you talked a little bit about apps and tools and things of that
Mhm.
sort. There are some tools at your disposal that you're able to a planner or organize or calendar, alarms. I mean, take me through what you as a student athlete do to kind of keep yourself organized and prepared.
Definitely an agenda book. That has been my best friend, my sister, the agenda book. I, when it comes to school and different tasks that I have to do for, the different clubs and groups that I'm in, I definitely write them all out and write down the specific tasks I need to do. And I mean, there's no better feeling than checking off each box. So what I try to do at the beginning of each week, when I look at my assignments and get through a full day of classes, I write down what I have to do. Now, granted, if I have to go somewhere after school and go to practice or do something, I will get what I can done during lunch. And then especially, time is real crucial right after school. Um, and then, if I don't finish those things, I say to myself, okay, this is what you need to do. You have another day of school tomorrow. Assignments are just gonna pile on. So I definitely try to take all the time that I have and kind of supply it in different areas in life when it comes to assignments and getting it done.
I love it. You have a plan. That's important. Organization, being organized, being prepared. Those are so helpful, especially when you're getting ready to go to the next level in college. So a lot of this time that you're spending in high school is working the kinks out and getting handling the time management, being able to be organized so you're ready for the next level. Well, hey, this is Lenayiah Jex, class of 2022 utility softball player, GPA 4.5 out of John F. Kennedy in Maryland. We'll be right back.
The time is coming for us to get out and go again, to visit all the places we didn't know meant so much. But we're all going at our own speed. At Enterprise, peace of mind starts with our complete clean pledge, curbside rentals, and low-touch transactions. With so many vehicles of so many kinds, you can count on us to help you get everywhere you want to go. Again, whenever you're ready, we're ready for you. Enterprise.
Well, welcome back to our show, Outside the Games. We have here with us Lenayiah Jex, class of 2022 utility softball player, attends John F. Kennedy High School in Maryland, and she has a GPA of 4.5. Lenayiah, we talk about media because media is a big thing to a student athlete, how to handle it. In which way do they handle media? There are so many social media platforms. You even mentioned a couple of them earlier, TikTok and Instagram. Just to mention those ones. But you look at Twitter. Twitter is something that obviously student athletes are using as a kind of a academic for their sports as well. Tell me how you handle media and why.
I think that I handle media in a very unique way, I would say, because first being, a student athlete and being a teen, you do see a couple things on the internet that you might say, hey, let me do this, I want to do this, but what you post is going to be there forever. No matter how much you delete it, when it's disappeared, it's always there. So I'm very mindful of what I post when it comes to things like that and how I post it and where I post it. Especially now, it's more crucial than anything, softball wise. I mean, posting things, you want to post it for the right reason. You don't want to post it and think about, hey, I'm posting this, but is this the right thing to post? So I think that when it comes to media, what you post is how you will be viewed. Because again, it is social media. You're gonna deal with criticism, you're gonna deal with hate, you're gonna deal with a large variety of things, and you have to be ready for, how to handle that. I would say that I post things to make people smile. I post things that, highlight me in the way that I want to be highlighted. And I definitely post things that would not only benefit me, but also benefit, other people that look at it and say, hey, you know, I think I want to do this. I think that the way that she's doing this is good. I always want to post something for positive feedback and never that negative feedback.
Yeah, a lot can be said with the freedom of speech, right? Everybody wants to go to the Constitution and say, I got the freedom of speech. I can say whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. However,
Yeah.
freedom of speech comes with some type of responsibility. How do you feel about that?
I think that you control what you do, and you are the driver in the car. So, with that being said, I think that yes, everybody has their right to freedom of speech, but at the end of the day, if you know that social media, the way that it is today, is how it is, and there's not necessarily no changing that, I think that you should definitely try everything and anything to maybe say, hey, well, I want to be shown in this light rather than being shown to somebody and saying, that person saying, hey, I know this person for a negative reason. So definitely being mindful of what is being posted. And if you do, want to post however you want to post it, just be aware of where you're posting it and how you do it.
Well put. Well put. Exactly. Well, let's talk about what we really want to talk about, and that's softball. Lenayiah, why softball? Why softball? Take me through what was it about softball that made you love the sport and want to play it and be involved with it?
Oh man, I've definitely played a number of sports, but one thing that's always stood out to me was softball. I first picked up a glove in 7th grade. I never put it down. The joy that I get from playing this specific sport is like none other. I mean, you are able to just, well, for me personally, I'm able to just go on the field and really showcase what I can do as a player. And softball is one of those sports where you do have a family, you do, but you are also showcasing your skill set. And it's easier to see on the field rather than, let's say football where it's all like kind of clustered together. I think that also what drives me to really play softball is that family aspect. That second, family, I'm really big on family. So having that second family to kind of turn to and come to is always an amazing feeling. I mean, my teammates mean a lot to me, former teammates, current teammates, school teammates, all of that kind of go into one. So having that sisterhood, that bond and being able to really drive myself to where I want to be on the field is definitely what pushes me to keep playing.
Oh, so true. So true. We find that the softball community is pretty strong. The support from, as you mentioned, your sisters in the sport itself is very, very strong. We find that very true. Do you find that to be accurate as well?
I do. Softball is definitely a sport that is very underrepresented. So I think that within the softball community itself, we as sisters, we definitely stick together. I mean, my teammates every team that I've played on, I've definitely found a number of teammates and girls that I can definitely say are my sisters, still to this day. Um, having that, extra support in itself. Some videos that I do post softball wise, I definitely get the support and the reassurance of, hey, you're doing a great job, keep it up, and hey, I really like what I'm seeing. Even if we don't see each other now, I definitely know that they're there. So having that extra push to really drive myself from my teammates is amazing.
Sport is everything. I mean, really, you can define it that way. And I find it a lot of, especially on social media, there's so much support of people's videos and what they're doing. And, I've even seen someone say, way to go, girly. And just the aspect of, and even some college coaches mention and say, hey, I'm ready to see some film. Who has some for me?
Right, right. I mean, social media is crazy amazing. The sense of humor is definitely there. When I think that everybody is definitely taking advantage of this and kind of making, not making COVID get in the way of it. Definitely turning this situation around. As bad as it may be, we're all definitely going, through hard times, and we're all kind of adjusting. It's a big adjustment to have, but we're definitely getting there. Sense of humor is definitely there, and I mean,
Lenayiah, you brought up something that it just hit me, is when you said that softball, girls softball, women's softball is not represented the best. Kind
yeah.
of explain a little bit of that. What do you mean by that, and how why so?
I feel that women's softball in itself just really just don't get the light that we should have. I think that all sports work hard equally. Now, granted, we don't see a lot of softball on, let's say, for example, TV. We don't see it. Uh, we don't necessarily know what games are going to be played. Not a lot of people are posting it, reposting it as much as they would repost, baseball or football, lacrosse, and I think that that's actually really crazy because we are working hard as well. We are grinding every day and we are out here, you know, just as much as any other sport is. So I think that not being represented in the light that we definitely should have is is honestly really crazy, and I hope, and I know for a fact the culture is definitely changing, and we are starting to get the recognition that we do need. So I think that's definitely been a major help.
Love it. Yeah, I love that. Your position, utility. Lenayiah Jax can be put anywhere on the field. And what what are your strengths and weaknesses? I find that as a student athlete, we talk about that sometimes. Student athletes don't like to talk weaknesses. They don't. But I think the important piece to this is let's take strengths. What do you find that's strong in your softball game, Lenayiah?
The strongest thing that I find is definitely fielding. I love running around outfield. My speed is definitely one, and base running are definitely my strengths.
Love that. Have you ever done any kind of speed, agility, in a sense of timing? Say, in football they have the 40.
Right.
Is any, because hey, you said speed. So in the outfield,
Mhm.
you have to be fast, especially when that softball's coming hot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I have gotten clocked with my speed. I do not necessarily remember the numbers, but I do know um, now I'm going to get clocked again. Stay tuned for the numbers. But I would say my 5'10" numbers were around, I want to say 4.5. I'm honestly not too sure, but it was a very good time that I did have.
Well, I think the thing is too is that it gets measured often. right? Because your speed can change, right?
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of working on your body. We'll get to that from an exercise standpoint, speed and agility, different exercises. But you do have to continue, just like in football, they're taking the 40 often. Uh, Technique. We find technique, the way you stand, the way you run, the way you pump your arms can all be something of how it can affect that number. When I go into building your body right, because we see a lot of postings and on film and lifting weights and different speed and agility drills. What works for Lenayiah, and how do you build your body to be bigger, faster, stronger? But again, the emphasis is speed too, right?
Right. So what I would say is definitely what you eat and drink plays a big role in that. And I would say definitely being in the gym. I mean, Coach Kenny has been amazing. He's definitely been a major part in helping me build that strength and agility as far as when it comes to running and definitely all the different exercises that you do. But the main thing that I would say is definitely sticking with it. You know, you can't expect to be this, muscled person in 5 days. You have to definitely stick with a plan and a routine that you have and just kind of just keep it going and push yourself to really get it done because it's easier to, eat the junk food that you like, but it's definitely harder to, burn it off and work it out. So
You have youth on your side, my friend. You can burn the Twinkies, the cakes,
yes.
the cookies quickly. However, yes, nutrition is a big, big piece. What have you found challenging in the exercises you do? And say if it's a bench press, if it's incline press, if it's squats, what have you found to be challenging for you, and that you've gotten better at?
Um, Let me see. That is a great question. I would say the most challenging parts, I really don't like doing sit-ups at all. Like I could do push-ups, I can do a very number of things, but sit-ups is definitely not something that I like to do. But I do, like I said, I remember why I'm doing it and the purpose. Like I never want to do or be on the field without knowing my purpose and why I'm doing it. So it's that what are you doing it for? And I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it to get where I need to be and where I want to be. So that's definitely what pushes me.
Well, and especially as a student athlete, it doesn't change. So as you get older, you want to make sure you have that foundation of working out, keeping in shape, because softball doesn't last forever. Sports don't last
Right.
forever. So you have to teach your body and train your body in a way to do that. Uh, Thinking of just the sit-ups aspect of it, I guess that means that you're planking.
Yes, it definitely does.
If you don't like sit-ups, you might as well plank, right? You're going to work
Yep.
on your core. Uh,
Yeah.
in your position, what do you find most helpful when it comes to what exercises help without being an outfielder and speed and agility, footwork, what in hitting? What exercises do you find beneficial for you?
Exercise that I find beneficial for me and keeping up my speed and being an outfield, I would definitely say drills that consist of, ladder drills, getting that footwork in. Um, I would definitely say drills where I'm going to try to explain it the best way that I could. You have cones and you definitely like run around, but obviously in a fashionable manner. You go to cone, like cone work. In the infield, like I would also say definitely footwork is a big thing. Staying athletic and not planting your feet on the floor is major. So different drills, whether it's grounders, 50 grounders, just coming straight at you rapidly. So you work on your time to really connect with the ball and get it to where it needs to be. I would also say drills consist of constantly throwing as well. You wanna, if I'm playing short, I want to be able to get my ball to where it needs to be. Overthrowing the first isn't gonna help us. It's gonna help the runner. So definitely keeping that straight, flat, nice throw to first. Working on how I'm gripping the ball, where I'm throwing the ball, the angle I'm throwing it at, how I want to finish. Catching wise, I would say definitely just getting comfortable in a squatting position, staying on my toes, not planting my foot down, being able to move as fast as I need to get the ball to where it needs to be to, make that play.
Can you say that a lot of softball is a lot of repetition, muscle memory, especially when it comes to fielding? I mean, there's nothing like a hopper that gets hit from the batter and they slap it or however they do it, and it hits the grass a certain way. You have to be focused and concentrating how you field the ball, because it's not only the aspect of the catch to make sure that ball doesn't go past you, but it's also getting it to the base to get that runner out. Isn't that true?
That is very true. I would say it's all muscle memory. Now me and my uncle go out every day and we work on specific things. Now, granted, there are some things that I really don't like to do, but it's all in the skill set that you have to do. I mean, you have to, you can't put down a softball for a month and expect to throw. I mean, straight and flat. You have to continuously work at it, continuously grind through it. My uncle has definitely been a big help in pushing me grind to some of the drills that I don't necessarily like to do or know how to do, and he's definitely helped me get to where I needed to be in terms of throwing wise. Just getting those extra reps in, whether it's with a teammate, one of your other teammates, or it's with your team, or it's just in general, you throwing a tennis ball at the wall, working on reflex time, working on just the time of action, because all that it is when the ball gets hit to you, you should already be in that game mode. I have to get this. I'm going to get this. You can't second guess yourself and think. You kind of just have to strive through it and get it done. I definitely drive myself. I have this high level of self motivation, but he's definitely been a big help in that aspect of saying, I think we should try this. You're definitely doing a good job in these areas, but we could do better in this. And we definitely, come together and sit down and literally discuss certain drills that I want to do and that I know I have to do. And even some days where, he's not outside with me, I'm definitely getting up, going out, taking multiple swings, getting my swings in every day, um, getting a couple throws in here and there. And I mean, I'm telling you, it's all about time and how you manage your time. Every break that I get, if I'm not working, I'm outside with a softball. I would say I view my hitting before. When I used to hit, I wasn't very confident at the plate. But now, I mean, it's been a drastic change. And the things that I do and the work that I've been putting in, I'm definitely a lot more confident at the plate. I'm not even, I'm telling you, I'll stand there and I'll swing at a pitch that I know is good before. I honestly did not do that. I would say it's just the working towards it every day. I knew I wasn't the strongest batter before, but I'm definitely now outside, cold, rain, snow, hitting, just straight hitting. You have to keep that consistency. You have to definitely, like I said, do the things you don't necessarily like, because at the end of the day, you are driving yourself and you are the reason you're going to get to where you want to be. Um, in terms of certain drills that I do, I definitely go outside on the tee. Hitting off the tee has been very beneficial. Um, I also have this app, called Blast, and it kind of tells me certain things that I'm doing good on and what I could do better, like attack angle. And also, in tournaments and games, I go to the plate with a plan. It's just very crucial to have a plan. You can't go up to the plate and just kind of just swing at every pitch, because it's not going to work out very well. So I definitely try to keep a plan. If I know this pitcher is she's just doing great and just getting balls straight past my teammates, I'm gonna look at it from an angle. Well, also, what bat should I use? Should I use a lighter bat? Should I use a heavier bat? If I hit the ball, how do I want to hit it? Do I want to hit it over their heads? Do I want to hit it in, do I want to bunt it? Different things like that. So I would definitely say sticking to a plan and executing that plan at the plate.
Wow, that you sounds like you have a plan.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have a plan. So, with that, there's something to be said about the pitcher and how they're throwing the ball at you.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming hot.
But if you go to the plate thinking, okay, I'm going to strike out, it's most likely going to happen. So you never want to think like that. You always want to think, okay, I'm going to hit it. Just where am I going to hit it? Do I need to step back in the box? Do I need to move forward in the box? How do I need to set up at the plate to execute the plan that I need to? I would definitely say watching pitchers warm up is a big thing. Getting advice from teammates that have been up to bat, whether it's a inside pitch, outside pitch. If she's throwing balls, just definitely get the timing. Be patient, be motivated, and swing. If you think it's a strike, it's most likely a strike. Swing, trust your instincts and execute your plan at the plate.
Perfect advice. That's really good advice. Be out there with your teammates. And how did the season go?
I would say, due to COVID, it really did kind of bum us all out, because in the beginning of the season, we only got to play 2 scrimmages. And we were doing a lot better than what we had seen the previous season. We had a couple new players. And everybody's really getting along. So that first couple weeks, not even a month, at that first couple weeks we had our season, it was kind of like we're all excited to play, we're all fired up already. And then we kind of gotten that taken from us. But I would say that team chemistry was there. The team unity was definitely there. And we kind of just talked each other through it as we, were home and in quarantine. We definitely stayed on top of, making sure every one of us are doing as good as we could be. And if we weren't, we were getting that extra support from the team as well.
I know you can't wait. I know you cannot wait to be able to put the uniform on, to be with your teammates, to compete. How have your coaches helped you to remain focused and get the best out of Lenayiah Jacks?
I would say my coaches have definitely somewhat here and there have put me in certain positions. Like when I first started, I loved first base. I could play outfield, but I loved first base. So definitely putting me to see the many different positions that I could potentially play really opened my eyes, and definitely showing me like, hey, you kind of, have a gift. You could use it in these other areas and not just one. I would definitely say some of the decisions to play another position kind of came from myself. I knew what I was capable of, and I definitely want to try and kind of break down every challenges that comes my way. So definitely, like, for example, catching was definitely the decision I made on my own. And I think that starting kind of as late as I did, I'm definitely continuing to develop and getting to where I want to be. So continuing to push myself, and those extra drills, those extra time it takes is really beneficial.
Well, we appreciate you being on our show, Lenayiah Jacks. She's class of 2022, utility player, be put in many positions, coaches know this. And she's a 4.5 GPA out of John F. Kennedy High School in Maryland. We appreciate you being on our show. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
I definitely appreciate being here. This was amazing. I definitely had fun. I definitely love what you guys are doing, and continuing to support us and helping the softball community is definitely an amazing thing. And on behalf of all softball players, thank you.
Love it. We appreciate that very much. It means a lot to us. But we're not done. We have this thing called the Quick Blitz. We get to know you, Lenayiah Jacks, even better. So, rapid fire. Favorite food?
Pizza.
There you go. Favorite dessert?
Cake.
Ooh. Apple or Android, and why?
Apple, I just think it's a better product in general. FaceTime, come on now. FaceTime.
You could have different people onto the FaceTime, right?
For FaceTime, yes.
For FaceTime, yes. Favorite musical artist? There's plenty, I know.
Ooh. Pop Smoke.
Okay. Rest in peace, right?
Rest in peace.
Favorite cleat to wear?
Ooh. I would have to show you, because
Let's go.
Are my babies. I love these. This is the best thing. So I'm all about my shoes. I love these cleats. So Nike.
Okay. So Deion Sanders said this. He says, "You look good, you feel good, you play good."
Yes, have to. You have to. You gotta go out there feeling good, playing good, and overall looking good.
Right. What's your favorite casual shoe to wear?
Jordans.
Okay. Favorite Jordan there is. There's a bunch of them, and there's people that say Jordan 1s, but
right. Red 11s are my absolute favorite. They look amazing. They're my favorite.
Okay, all right. If you could travel to a destination spot in the world, anywhere in the world, and I know you're getting excited, where would that be?
Hawaii. I've always heard Hawaii is amazing, and I would love to go see what's so amazing about it and check it out.
Different islands too, so you get options. You get options. That's good. Let's get serious on a couple things. If you were running late, Lenayiah Jex, you had to let somebody know. Would you call or text, and why?
I would definitely call and text. I think that it's important, like I said, to communicate with your coaches, or it doesn't even have to be a coach. If you're late to a meeting, definitely text them and say, hey, I'm running a little late. You know, and they're a lot more understanding. No matter who it is, where it is, what it's for, definitely communicate, because that's the key to everything, communication.
Favorite car or SUV that Lenayiah Jex would love to get into and drive? Maybe even take a couple teammates.
Ooh. Challengers. They look amazing. Challengers.
What color?
I would say like a nice purple, kind of bluish purple color.
Well, wait a second. I'm kind of feeling something from you, color-wise. I'm looking at your background. I see purple. Is that your favorite color?
It's my favorite color, purple and blue. My favorite.
Okay. That wasn't one of the rapid-fire questions, but I'll take that one. I'll take that one. If there was one thing you could have an impact in the world today, Lenayiah, what would that one thing be that you could make a change for the better?
I think that one thing, if I can make a change for the better, would definitely be uniting everybody and making everybody smile. Because that sense of unity is definitely something that we all need at a time like this. And in general, being able to make people smile and just seeing happiness all around is definitely one thing I would love to see happen, and I would love to change, and inspiring people to kind of just go for it. You know, if there's something you want to do, go for it. You're never gonna know if it was gonna work out if you don't, take the chance. So definitely inspiring and making people smile.
Powerful. That's powerful. What would you prefer out of the two? So, listen clearly. Would you prefer one of your cleats that broke, or would you prefer on being on Outside the Game show?
I would prefer being on Outside the Game show.
There you go. Who wants a broken cleat? Then I got to get other ones, and I got to find their color, and I got to make things match. By the way, are there any cleats that you have found that are purple?
No, and I'm honestly thinking about customizing my own, because hey, I love purple, and I would definitely find purple.
Shoe brands, beware. Lenayiah Jex is looking for a purple cleat.
Purple and black. That's all I need.
Okay. So hey, we appreciate you very much. And again, just from an aspect of, you watch a lot of college softball. Do you watch a lot of college softball?
I do.
Who's your favorite teams that you love to watch?
I love to watch LSU, Oklahoma, UCLA, Florida State, Maryland, and Oregon.
So, any other colleges that Lenayiah didn't mention, don't take it personally. She loves to watch the game of softball. She's just saying, hey, other colleges have to play those teams. So she gets to see everything, I'm sure. So, hey, we appreciate you very much, Lenayiah Jex. It's been a pleasure to have you on our program, to get to know you as a person and a student athlete. And the character is everything. And so we learned a lot about you, and I'm sure you have fans now. So definitely, where can they find you, Lenayiah? Give us some tags. Where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at xlenayiah. You can find me on Twitter at Lenayiah1. You can find me on Snapchat at xlenayiah. I really do appreciate being here. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you so much, Lenayiah. We wish you the best. We'll be on the lookout. Let us know your schedule. Never know outside the games. As soon as this COVID stuff goes away, we'd love to attend the game.
That is amazing. I will definitely keep you guys updated with that.
So much. Again, Lenayiah Jex, class of 2022, utility player, GPA 4.5 out of John F. Kennedy High School in Maryland. We thank you so much for being on our show. Thank you.
This is Savannah Gemolo, and you've been watching Outside the Games with your host, Kevin Menton.